Okay, so for sewing, probably the most crucial part is threading a needle. So I'm gonna take this, pull it out a bit. Pull it out. Then at the end of that, cut it. Then once cut, you you see this, yeah, and then you get a needle. I actually still have thread in the thing, so just gonna pull that out. Probably the most irritating part out of this whole thing is actually getting it in the hole. Is actually getting it through the area, then pulling it. As you can see, I failed at that just then. Yeah, there we go. Then, once that is done, you tie it at the end. Yeah. Then once you do that, you loop around the two strings and then put it through the hole and tie it like so. There you go. Now that that is knotted, you are ready to sew. Now once that is done, we're gonna take two pieces. A basic sewing method is to go in, trying to get it close enough, poke in to both sides, pull through. It might get stuck in the fur if you're using that kind of material, but yeah. Then before it actually goes in, we're going to find the loop from the two strings and pull it through that. That kind of and that secures it in there a lot better than just like tying it on. Then like actually sewing it in, you poke through the bottom and then just continue doing that for as long as possible. It won't be perfect sometimes. It won't be perfect. But as long as it's working, you're good. Like honestly, I'm not the best at it, but it works. So and to actually end it off, what you do is kind of like how we did the beginning. You tie it up, but wait for the loop. Like, don't completely tie it in and go through this and pull through. Do that a few times just for security, and you can cut the thread. Should work like that. But I'm not done this hand, so I'm going to continue that. There. Now that that hand is attached, I'm going to go do everything else. Now, for this, you're going to want to do this like 3 more times so that you can sandwich them together to actually make the arms. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because the other way would take a much longer time, and that's why you would sew these together first and not sew this, and then attach that. It just doesn't work as well as the other. Now, a different part. I'm just going to show you the charm I made so far. I know it's yellow, and it should be gold, but this is what I had for paint. I quite like it. Yeah. So for the body, you get a zipper, cut it to size, and glue the back of this down to just secure it. Then once that's done, you take the fabric of the body and you sew it along that. Depending on the density of this zipper, it shouldn't be too hard, but I'm not quite sure. But to me, it should be pretty easy just to sew it that way. Just a little... Yeah, I can't wait for that. Alright, then you would sew it normally, to which that would be connected. Then after sewing this, you would sew it to the back. Yeah. Also the legs, I'll get to that eventually. So for the legs, we have 2 bottom bits. Like these are for the direct bottom. This is to wrap around, so then you have the bottom of the foot. And this is the actual leg itself that will be attached to that. And we have 2 of those. And you just sew it up naturally. Pretty simple, actually. Yeah. For the lips, this is the prototype. The prototype. Anyways, the prototype I used for it. Just this tube thing. And this pattern which I have on my YouTube community page. Yes, I will try to find a way to make it downloadable. But essentially, I made a tube and just sort of sewed it on. I think I can try to show you the method, but it's a bit difficult, not necessarily hard, but just a bit annoying. So, the thread would go into this, then into that, and sort of zigzag it. Zigzag and pull each time, and just go all around the thing. Now this takes a little long, and I'm gonna tell you, depending on how many times you zigzag, that's how much it will hold. So if there's like a little bit of zigzag, it won't hold as well, but it would still keep the shape. But if you do as many zigzags as possible, then you know that it ain't coming off unless brutally ripped off. But yeah, the supplies you need are zippers. I got 100 of them for $10 because I make stuff. You don't necessarily have to get 100 of them, but yeah. Also, you will need plastic noses and eyeballs. I personally use this brand. You can screenshot if you'd like. Yep, they're on Amazon. They're not too expensive, and the biggest size is the correct size. Yeah. And depending on what smiling critter you're making, you will need different color fabric, such as red, yellow, orange, if you're doing Dog Day. But if you have the other ones, you're gonna need like green and other green colors. Also, literally any other smiling critter, all of the colors for those